In discussing finding triangle similarity, there are a couple things that we have to make sure that we accomplish. And so we've already taken this example and kind of worked a lot of it out just because there are a lot of parts to it. And I did it ahead of time. That way you don't have to sit here and watch me do all this. It asks us to draw a diagram that illustrates the similarity statement from above. So triangle HRY over here on the left-hand side, we were trying to make similar to triangle JPT, okay? So remember that the idea of similarity just means that the angles are all congruent and the sides are proportional. They don't have to be the same size, okay? Similar means same shape, not necessarily same size. So when we represent that with that little tilde in between, we're saying that they are the same shape, which we can see, but they might not be the same size. So as we're going through here, um, and we have that listed down here at the bottom. Given the following diagram, what conditions are necessary to show that triangle GHK is similar to triangle MHS? Essentially, I mean, we need a lot more information. We need vertical angles, which we can see. We need to know that GK is parallel to SM. That way we can get the opposite or alternate interior angles represented. But essentially what we need is that all angles are congruent, which when we're talking about angle, any sort of angles with similarity, they're going to be congruent angles. And then the sides are going to be proportional. They don't have to be the same, but they have to be proportional. So when we're talking about side, or if we use any sort of combination, the S represents sides being proportional and the A represents angles being congruent. So coming back up here, all right, we know that H and J are going to correspond with each other because they are both in the first position, and so those angles have to be congruent. R and P are also in the same position. They're in the second position, so we know that they have to um, correspond to each other, and they have to be congruent. And then we have Y and T, which are in the third position, which means they need to correspond with each other, and they need to be congruent, which we show that where it asks us to list all pairs of congruent angles. And then we've gone a step further and listed all the proportional sides as well so that we can see. And I've gone ahead and color coded that. That's part of why I did it ahead of time. That way you don't have to see me changing colors back and forth and spending more time doing that. But H, R, and JP, okay, H and J are both black points, and R and P are both red points. They're in the same position, so those sides are going to be proportional because they correspond with each other. Okay, whether it's a small one or the bigger one, they're in the same position and they go between those same corresponding angles. So we have RY, our red, and our orange or yellow, whichever color that is. Sorry for my color blindness. R and Y go with P and T, and then Y and H go with T and J. And we've done that color corresponding. We've coordinated those colors so that you can see the relationship there. So good slide to come back to if you need to kind of represent some of that stuff. And then we go into this art projector, and this is how projectors typically work. Okay, you didn't have those blue triangles built in before, but essentially what happens is you have the projector with the work of art. Typically it's upside down as shown here, and then through the lens, okay, and the light and the way that all works, it recreates an image. Okay, and as that screen is further and further away, that image gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Essentially what's happening, you're not changing the angles at all, but because the angles are all the same, those sides are going to be proportional to each other. So we can say that those triangles are similar to each other. Okay, so that's actually how that works. It says notice similar triangles used. We can show these triangles are similar without having to measure each side and angle. And we're going to go into that with some of the videos that we're going to come up with here in a few.